How do you develop movement like Alex Pereira? That's from Green Bean 5. Well, you look, I'll tell you something. He's got incredible reach, incredible athleticism. The man grew up in the jungle, don't forget. Then he went into the favela. He lived in the favela, the guy's biography is incredible. I was so happy to see him win. Don't get me wrong. I know I picked Adesanya, but I was so happy to see this man win. Think about this man's life. He was an alcoholic. He was a drug addict. He went into fighting, had a bad loss, first MMA fight, a loss. Got into kickboxing, got a couple of beatings, guys. If you ever saw his fight with Jason Wilness, the first fight they fought 3 times, guys. Wilness gave him a beating, stopped him. If I remember correctly, he stopped him. Crippled, just kicked his legs out from underneath him. Then he went into boxing. I mean, the guy had a rough road. Not in UFC. In UFC had a stellar lightning, but to get to UFC, he had to overcome alcoholism, drugs, favela life. He had nothing. This guy had nothing. And now look where he is. He's the world champion of the UFC. He just beat, arguably, the greatest middleweight of all time. And I think he's going to have a rematch. He's going to make tons of money, hopefully plenty of money so he could retire, regardless of whatever happens after that. Hopefully he becomes a big name. He's an exciting fighter. Everybody wants to see an Alex Pereira fight, whether in Glory or in UFC. Don't forget, he's also 2-division champ in Glory. Guys, I think we could say he's the greatest striker on earth. Pound for pound, he is the greatest striker on earth. I don't think the greatest knockout artist on earth, but the greatest striker on earth. However, in my opinion, there are guys who could take him down and hold him down and maul him. There are guys out there. And he needs time. He needs time to develop to make sure that doesn't happen, that he's not dethroned too easily. And I think he has maybe 1 or 2 fights with Izzy. If Izzy wins the next one, it could be a blessing. It could be a blessing in disguise. He fights Izzy a 3rd time, beats him. That'll give him a good year to bring his wrestling up to par. How did Alex get so good so quickly, considering he started at the age of 22? That's from Green Bean 5. Well, look, I'll tell you, he's a genetic freak. Like he lived in the jungle. Think about it. Every day he was exercising. Think about that. He grew up swimming, fishing, hunting. Like while you were going to school, this guy was climbing trees trying to get coconuts. You understand? He's a phenomenal athlete. He's super imposing. He probably only did this with his life. You understand? So he probably did all sorts of things like physical training because he lived so poor. He probably played soccer. That's all he did with his life. While you were in school, sitting down 8 hours a day, listening to some guy talk, doing all your childhood activities. This guy was climbing trees, jumping off hills, like he's just working physically. So he has such an athletic ability that it's the fast track. His general physical preparation was so high that it's a fast track to martial arts. Now, here's the other thing. He's born with power. Guys, you're born with power. Coaches, we can make you stronger. We can make you faster, but we can't make you fast, and we cannot make you strong. It has a lot to do, the number one component of how strong you are is how and where your tendons are attached to your bone. Actually, the Nazis tried to experiment with reattaching tendons on the bone. They wanted to attach them at points with higher leverage. Now, they weren't able to do it. They experimented doing it. The experiments failed. It was too complicated. However, the Germans understood that tendons and muscles, where they're attached on the bone, makes a very big difference in leverage. I think he's just blessed with great genetics for generating power, and he's been extremely physical at a young age.